Hey, we're here back on the PIFF Connection for the part 2 to what we already did part 1, talking to Dr. Walls, talking to Bunnie, some Froggy Tea and Bunnie. And when we left off, we were talking about investments. And, you know, it's kind of interesting that we would go into this investing because, you know, Dr. Walls, we are at a very interesting time where we're starting to see COVID restrictions are being loosened a little bit. People are feeling more comfortable going out traveling more, spending, and people are looking to invest. And here you are, this project. Now, correct me, this project came out just before COVID or after or during COVID? During COVID.
Okay. It started before.
Okay.
And then the illustrations, as I was saying, I had an illustrator before, and that first set of illustrations was done in 2018, 2019. They finished in 2019. And then I went away to Africa, remember to teach.
You went to Africa?
I sure did. So I did my couple months in Ghana and taught.
Bunnie was
in Africa. Don't be surprised if you see that. And then when I got back, so now we're in 2020.
Okay.
And I moved into starting the animation part. And as I mentioned before, just because of a business move to make sure that the animations and the illustrations were a match, I asked Milton Malfini Productions to do the illustrations over.
Okay. So I'm listening to you talking about that. So as you went into as the business side kicked in, you saw that you had to make some adjustments. That's a teaching moment for young, for not as young, for people in general. Like, you know, as you start your journey in business or whatever, or in life, there are times you will have to make adjustments.
Well, and the large part was because I knew that this was the first book in the series. So there's many other adventures of Froggy Tea and Bunnie. And so I needed to solidify what they look like as characters. And like I said, I needed there to be a match because I knew each book there would also be an animated version as well. Okay. So I needed it to be as seamless as possible. Yes, of course, there's a slight difference because one's animated, one's illustrated, and it's different people doing them. Well, they're part of a team. So there's joint effort. But sometimes we see slight differences, and I'm fine with that.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
The way you look now and the way you looked 10 years ago is different.
The way I look now and the way that I looked on the first half of the show was different.
Yeah, she changed it. We changed location and everything. The
only
thing that stayed the same from part 1 to part 2 is the book.
That's right. That's right.
I love it. And, you know, so Dr. Walls, as we're looking at Froggy Tea and Bunnie, let's talk about what is your immediate goal and what is your future goal of this book. It's a series. This is the first one in the series.
This is the first one.
So what is your immediate goal? I should say immediate. What's your 6 months goal and what's your long-term goal?
I mean, those are really good questions. I can't say that I have them broken down yet on a timeline of like 3 months, 6 months. But some of my goals are, one is to the sales from this book and the animation and the ebook and the digital audio book are helping to fund the creation of the next book. So that's one goal there. I would like each one to be able to generate enough income to then produce the next ones in the series. And so I already have 5 other books written. Now, of course, if the reunion would like to pay for all of the other ones getting done, I'm more than happy to receive that. So that's one goal. Another goal is to be able to have Froggy Tea and Bunnie be in households all over the world. And so far, they're doing that. And so I'm very excited about that because they have popped up in other countries and I've gotten messages.
So they may go into different languages?
They may go into different languages, and that is a goal that, you know, we've talked about as well. And I've talked to some people in other countries about Froggy Tea and Bunnie learning new languages and speaking in these languages, which I think is very important.
I think that's cool too.
And then to be able to share it in schools. I had the wonderful opportunity. My first virtual book read was actually done at my grade school from grades 1 through 8. And they...
So wait, wait. So you got a chance to go back to your old
Yes.
grade school and read
Yes.
something that you created.
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
And that was amazing because it was in that grade school was when I first started writing children's books.
So are there still any teachers there from when you were there that's still there now?
So the funny part is it was actually a teacher who was there when I was there who introduced me, who told the principal about me.
Oh.
And then my old coach actually came to the virtual book read. So she started coaching me in second grade. And so she came and had a chance to see me present to the classes as well.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, that's nice. So let's just segue a little bit because I like what you're saying, that another teaching moment for those young people who are watching this interview. What should they be taking out? Because I think it shows what you learned, the roots you put down in grade school have come back to kind of bless you now.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's interesting. So always be nice to your teachers.
Always be nice to your teachers. That's right.
Always be nice to your teachers. Oh, that's interesting. So we see your immediate goals and you see the long-term goals.
And the
stuff.
long-term goals are really to continue to be able to write. I very much enjoy writing. And like I said, I was in grade school. I was in about second, third grade when I first started writing children's stories. And I would then take my stories down to the kindergarten and read to them. Oh. So to be able to be a grown person now going back and doing the same thing is very exciting. And so to be able to create more stories, I've already written 5 other ones. They're already finished. Okay. And so it's a matter of now funding to have them animated and illustrated. But
so wait a minute, are you looking for investors?
You know, it's interesting. It would have to be the right investors.
I understand.
You know, and so that's something. I know there's people like angel investors where they like the work that they like the work that you're doing, and they want to provide funding for that. That's something I would be interested in. You know, and then you have those investors who are looking to get their money back in a certain time frame. That's too much pressure. On me, I'm not interested in that type of pressure. I'd rather take my time and fund it accordingly. But, you know, if there's any angel investors or even if there's some businesses where we could talk about product placement. So Bunnie, there's episodes where Bunnie is on a cell phone. So if there's cell phone companies, that could be her phone of choice.
Music equipment companies?
Music equipment, definitely. Yeah. So, I mean, there's all types of possibilities.
And of course, Froggy T could wear someone's T-shirt.
Froggy, definitely.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm looking at you're talking, I'm looking at this. I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening.
There's a lot of things. Some other long-term goals is there are a lot of products that Froggy T and Bunnie have produced. You know, we have masks and mugs and tumblers and puzzles. But there's also a lot of other products that have yet to be in production, although they are in concept. And I've talked about them, and they're on my list of things to do.
She got a list.
I have a big list. There's a whole bunch of Froggy T and Bunnie products.
Okay. Well, I guess the thing basically we're saying here is like if you are an angel investor or if you're a company that has products that you would like to see in the book, and if you've talked to Dr. Walls about if your product falls in alignment with what she's doing, correct, that's something you could definitely look at.
Definitely.
So that's pretty cool.
You know, I've even talked with some businesses about Froggy T and Bunnie being their mascot. So, and some people have been open to that. So that's a conversation to go further as well. And again, looking at ways in which Froggy T and Bunnie can be a part of people's lives. Also looking at ways in which finances can come in to generate more, give me the opportunity to develop more stories. Because what I love...
A full movie.
Oh, I would love a full movie.
Oh, a full, hey.
That would be great.
That would be really cool.
It would.
Hey, I'm listening to you. My mind's going to...
And so that's exactly what happens. And see, what makes Froggy T and Bunnie so great for me is it allows me to combine a lot of, if not all of, who I am. So I'm able to bring in the psychology piece. I'm able to bring in the education piece. I'm able to bring in the music piece. I'm able to bring in the creative piece.
She plays the piano.
Right. I'm able to bring all of those in. I'm able to bring in people who I have been friends with for years and utilize their gifts and talents. Like Steph Renee and Vishane Frederick, and there's a whole, so to be able to bring all of these different people in and different life lessons that have been learned over, it's a way to give back. And it's a way to teach people and reach people in different ways.
I can't wait to see V-Shake in animation.
Right.
Oh, that would be cool. V-Shake. Ha, 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 ha. How does he sing? Ha, ha, ha.
Very deep.
It's
very deep.
I can't go that deep.
Yes.
No, but
yes.
I'm listening to you.
He definitely helps put the hip in the hip-hop tail.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, I think, I'm listening to you talking, and you're talking about building a dynasty.
That's right.
And I think, for me, correct me if I'm incorrect, Dr. Walls, you're talking about something that started 12 years ago. And I think for young people who are working their dreams and stuff, this is about the microwave theory. This is not overnight. This is a process.
Yes.
It's about getting your education, learn how to move things around, make things fit correctly for yourself.
Yeah.
Because this is not overnight. This, like you said, started 12 years ago, something like that?
Started in 2008. And it's also about building your team.
Yeah.
Right? Honestly, I see Froggy T and Bunnie being a ride at, like, Disney.
Uh-oh.
So
call her Disney. I love it.
I see a whole bunch of things. And when, for me, when God gives you visions and gives you projects, you don't know how big they'll go. And my favorite scripture, one of my favorite scriptures that I live my life by is Ephesians 3 verse 20, and that's God does it better than you could ever think, dream, or imagine. And so it's like, okay, this is what I was given. Like I said, it started out as a poem. I just called myself being creative and doing something special for one person. I had no idea that these two beings would be hopping into people's lives, and in some cases, which has been tremendously amazing, they're waiting for some people to arrive, because I've had people buy gifts for parents who are expecting.
Oh, cool.
And so I've autographed books for people who are expecting.
Wow, that's powerful.
And so those individuals aren't here yet, but they're waiting for them.
That's
powerful. So, it brings tears to my eyes.
I think also, for me, as I listen to that, this is where we truly understand what you talk about, Sankofa.
Yeah.
The principle of Sankofa, going to the past to bring to the present what you need to make the future better. And so here you have something something that came from your past.
Yes.
That's making your present better.
Yes.
And it's been given to the future to make the future even greater.
Yeah.
So there's a principle of Sankofa is this going right through it. You said that someone's buying this for a future.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's wow.
That's amazing. I've done a couple books.
Wow.
And so, it's amazing. And people will send me pictures, with them. Here's another one that's incredible. So one of the students who I taught in 5th grade bought this book for her daughter who was in 5th grade.
Oh, wow.
And so she sent me a picture of her daughter holding the book.
Wow.
And I was like, I need a picture of the two of you together, because it's just like, this is generational. Yeah.
I mean, and Dr. Walls, I'm listening to you talking, and it's giving me chills, this thing, because this is a truly a lesson in how we build a dynasty and how we build legacies in our family. Because, this is a perfect example. And, and it's two characters that have a life way beyond you.
Yes.
They're all going to different countries.
Yes.
Soon they'll be in different languages.
Yes.
Soon they'll have a full movie.
Yes.
I mean, so this is going to outlive us.
Yes.
And that's very powerful when you stop and think about when you put it, and also tells you be careful what you put out there.
Definitely.
Because if you put it out the wrong way, it affects generations.
Oh my goodness! I received a message from a teacher last week who has shared Froggy T and Bunnie with her students. They're preschool. She said every day since then she comes in to new Froggy T and Bunnie stories because the children are constantly writing Froggy T and Bunnie stories, and she said Froggy T and Bunnie even got married in one of the stories.
Wow.
And that was powerful to me because
yes.
it was the love that I had for Dr. Gordon.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Oh, it's the love that I had for Dr. Gordon that led me to even do this, and the fact that the children are able to feel and receive and recognize that love.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, once again, it's given a lesson to our youth. The simplest thing, the mustard seed, the smallest thing that's growing into something awesome. Because, I'm thinking about what you're saying right now, and you go back in history to how Mickey Mouse and Minnie started. A simple thing, look where it is right now. So, we never know what's in our hands. And Reverend or Congressman Adam Clayton Powell Jr. once said, what's in your head? The power to change things. He said that many, many years ago. So when we see the history of what's going on with Froggy T and Bunnie, someone's going to come to you to write the history about it.
Right. Right.
Someone's listening, they're going to say, I want to write the history about Froggy T and Bunnie. So that's taking you in a different direction. Now they're going to have you're going to have a story about the history, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And as I'm sitting there with you and we're looking at this, it's kind of funny because it's funny in an interesting way is that we're seeing the building blocks fall into place for two individual characters that's touching young kids, young people, because they're coming into the classroom every day with new stories. Right. One of them, now this is motivating them to read and write.
That's right.
So now they're going to go to their teachers and make sure they're writing correctly.
I have so many children who have written me letters. Like, it is... Sometimes I don't think about everything that has happened since they have appeared. Since they have appeared. I receive packages from teachers and classrooms with thank you letters, and they tell me how they want to write now and how they're inspired to be writers. And these are children, again, preschool through 8th grade, who are telling me this. Wow. Wow. And it's amazing. I had no idea.
I think that goes back to when you took a rock and you dropped it in the water. And you see the ripples. It's the ripple effect that's going on right here because... And
the bottom of the ocean is forever changed.
And, that ripple effect is going to touch children who never met you.
I've had parents send me emails. Like, when I tell you, like, I'm on, like, some Facebook groups, and I've had parents DM me, and they're like, hello, my child was in your virtual read, and all I hear about on the ride to school now is Froggy T and Bunnie. Thank you so much for exciting my children.
So you know what that means, right, Dr. Walls?
What's that?
That means you got to make a lunchbox for Froggy T and Bunnie. To take to school now.
I love it.
A lunchbox. We got the thing. We had the lunchbox. We can Uh-oh. Smoke's coming from my head.
Somebody got work to do.
Oh, no.
Well, you already know. I mean, I was drinking out of the Froggy T and Bunnie mug on God's Hotspot with the pastor and with the prophet and the psychologist, and people started ordering them. They were like, we love that mug.
Well, family, you know what happened? I was in my laboratory.
In your Kaumba zone.
And I was in my Kaumba zone, and I was like, you know what? I had these mugs. I said, let me make her a mug. I looked around and said, you know what? Because for me, as a business person / entrepreneur, this is just me personally. If you are a business person / entrepreneur, because there's a difference in the two. If you embrace both energies, I am not going to just use anybody's thing. The shirt I put on, my shoes, I try to support those who are going to support me. So I'm looking for my stuff. So I saw you with the water bottle. I'm like, the water bottle looks nice, but it looks cooler if you had a coffee mug. So let's do our stuff. Let's do our stuff. So my whole thing is, what am I using that I could put, for me, I could put PIFF or I could put PIFF on. And for you, it's like, what is she using that I could put Froggy T and Bunnie on? So now I'm listening to you talking about these little kids. A lot of these little kids go to school with lunchboxes or backpacks. Yep. And we have the material. We have the product to make backpacks and lunchboxes. So why not?
That's right.
Hey, Wow.
And we live in a current society that enables us to have access to create things that we didn't used to create. You know, so I'm excited. I mean, there'll be bed sheets and stuffed animals and musical instruments.
And we have the towels. We can make towels.
That's right. All this good stuff. So, you know, as y'all are listening and y'all are like, hey, can I get some of that? You sure can. All you have to do.
She doesn't have it. She has the earrings.
Oh, yes.
She has the earrings. She has the necklace.
Yes.
We already have the earrings.
All types of products. Yeah. All types of products.
And that's because if you're in business, like I said, you're an entrepreneur, you should be promoting yourself. Now, that's for the everyday person who's not in business. That's cool. Yeah. You could promote anybody you want to. Yeah. But I think if you're in business, you should first look to promote yourself before you promote somebody else. And there's nothing wrong in that. I don't think so.
Nothing wrong at all.
So yeah. So how can we just started talking, family, for part 2, and you see what happened, right? So now, if you want a lunch, if you want a lunch box, get into for your kids, you know who to get in touch with, okay? So
I mean, and there's different ways that you can find out. So one of the first things you can always do is you can go to froggytandbunnie.com, and so that's Froggy FroggyTandBunnie.com. It's also froggytandbunnie@gmail.com.
Okay.
All right. And so when you go on to froggytandbunnie.com, which actually links you to my AskDrWalls.com page, you'll see a Froggy Tea. It'll take you directly to the Froggy Tea and Bunnie tab. You'll also see a tab for shop where you'll see some of the Froggy Tea and Bunnie products. As I said, that list is growing.
Wow.
So we're very excited about that. The products are really good. They're beautiful. They're eye-catching. Someone went to the doctor's the other day with their tumbler, and someone else saw it, and next thing you know, there was another order. So because the colors are so vibrant, and that's one thing even within the book. Yeah. I mean, the illustrations, the colors, they're just they're beautiful. And I paid for the highest quality paper. I paid for the highest quality cover because I believe, again, as we talked about investment and spending, I believed in spending what was needed in order for this to be a quality investment.
I'm looking at this, and I know Milton. I was blessed during PIFF 2018 in St. Lucia. I met Milton and some of the animators he works with who came to St. Lucia for a workshop. It's just, God works in a very beautiful way. Because PIFF was going on and Milton was doing a workshop, and he had animators from Grenada and different islands, and I got a chance to sit down and talk to them. So to come back and now to see this, from some of the people he's working with, some of the people he has taught, this is so powerful. And for me personally, is just to know it came from my homeland. It's from a little island in the Caribbean Sea. And so, I'm really happy to see this. And so when people look at this and I see Milton's name all over it, there's his work and his work of his people. And it's kudos to, you never know who you're touching, because I know I met some of the people working with. I know you didn't, but you have met Milton before. But in 2018, you wasn't at PIFF, and I met some of the other people. So there's a lot of young people. These were young people, like my son's age. Some of them younger than my son.
Much.
And I'm thinking to myself, here we are. We're inspiring the next generation. And that's very cool.
Inspiring, encouraging, and it was really cool because, as you know, you were the one that sent the package out when we had the chance to mail the team the hard copies. And so for them to be able to see their work to
touch it.
Yes, to touch it in its form, right? As opposed to just on a screen. And as someone who writes a lot over the years, after I wrote my first book, people were like, oh my goodness, you're an author. I was like, not until I sell the first book. I said, when it's sitting on my computer, it's just a paper like every other paper I've ever written. And so, I imagine that for an illustrator, an animator, like not until you see it in its tangible form, you see other people holding it, but you get to hold it yourself. It's amazing. And you see your name on it,
I mean, I've been blessed to be on some movie sets, and that's even like right now. One of the movie sets I was on back in 2008, and Made in Chinatown with Robert Samuels. To be there and see the acting coming to pieces, coming together, and now to see the final
full.
thing on the big screen.
Yes.
I mean, I'm like, wow. Now I had a very, very little, just been doing some still
In
shots.
the background.
So I'm saying, I imagine Robert Samuels, just go through all that with the people, the writer,
Yes.
Mr. Wiley, that who did all this stuff. To see the final thing on the screen, I cannot imagine what they feel, because I mean I know how it was for me with the bench.
I can say you can't imagine how they feel because you did it with the bench.
Yeah, the bench was, but you know what? The bench was shot all in 1 week. It was a very, we did everything in 1 week, but they did this over months.
Yeah,
moved to different locations and stuff like that. So
and that's how I felt. I mean, this started in 2008. I mean, this was a 12-year journey and a 12-year secret journey, because I didn't tell.
Exhale, huh?
Yeah, big time, because I didn't tell Dr. Gordon that I was doing this.
That's right. You kept it a secret from him.
I kept it a secret for 12 years.
Poor Dr. Gordon.
Right, so,
Froggy T for 30,000 years.
Okay, so 40,000 years, it definitely felt like.
Oh, man. Well,
right.
Cool.
So, so there was a lot of, you talk about an exhale, because there was, with COVID hitting, you pray that the person is alive to receive the gift. My mother had gotten sick during that time also, and she was a big supporter and had been waiting and wanting to see this, so for it finally to come to fruition, it was a big exhale.
Yeah. I mean, I think, there's so many teaching moments here. And I think another one for me as I'm listening to you talking is that the little things we do affects other people in major ways. We should never minimize it, because it might be small to us, but it's major to some other people.
Let me tell you how true that statement is. And I hadn't even realized it until my assistant, Zalaw, said it. She said, do you realize that this book right here is based on your first meeting and interaction with Dr. Gordon? And I had been saying it, but I hadn't listened to myself. Everything in this book is based on what he said to me the first day that he met me. Hey, where you been? I ain't seen you in 40,000 years.
Wow.
And so when you say that, the power of a moment generated this and is now touching so many people's lives forevermore.
I'm listening to you talking. I'm thinking about myself in that, we look at PIFF, and PIFF, PIFF goes back to Sisters in Harmony. And Sisters in Harmony goes back before my mom made her transition when I was just doing these projects. And then, to have Ruby come in 2009 after my mom, because she never met my mom. My mom transitioned in 2005, and she came in 2009. And then she comes and she said, you need to make this organization go. And she's like, stop pushing me for this organization. So I stopped and said, if she didn't push me, if my mom didn't put a camera in my hand when I was a little boy, I probably never, So it's always little things. Be careful. For me, be careful what you put in your children's hand. Because my mom, at a very young age, I was still 8, 9 years old, and my mom gave me a camera to start playing with. And so the things you give your children, we have to be very conscious of that. Right. Be very mindful of that.
That's right.
The things you say, the people you allowed into your life, because Ruby came into my life through a radio show, Michael Basin.
Yeah.
So I met her on Michael Basin. So she came into my life through that. And because of that, she pushed me to start Sisters in Harmony. And Sisters in Harmony morphed into what we are where I am right now with PIFF. Now PIFF now has PIFF Africa. I'm meeting all these people in Africa. So the smallest action, you never know. It could be so monumental, because now I did a workshop in Ghana, in Uganda the other day. I did a workshop for from filmmakers in Uganda the other day. That's all from going way back.
Yeah, and you don't know. It's interesting. When I did one of the virtual book reads, there was a young man who was watching it with his mother, preteen, and he heard Froggy T playing the sax. And he told his mom, he said, I want to play the sax like Froggy T.
Well, his mom probably
right, exactly. So afterwards, when I opened it up, that's when she shared, and we were just like, wow. And he was like, yeah, I think it's really cool. And we were like, I said, me. I'm like, you learn how to play that sax and it sound good. I have no problem putting you in the next one of the next animation series.
And you see him when they're walking across the stage getting a Grammy for playing the sax.
Honey, and he be talking about thanks to Froggy T.
We just don't know.
You never know.
I always talk about 360 degrees. Every degree has 60 minutes. Every minute has 60 seconds. So you never know how that degree is going to affect someone.
Yep.
And that's why we have to be very careful. One can be mindful of what we do with young people, do with ourselves, really also. But that's so powerful. So this here family...
and let me tell you, and I think I mentioned it, that this book, because it is called The Reunion, has done exactly that. It has reconnected me with people throughout my life, people who I haven't spoken to or seen since like 1984 have reached out for copies, which has led us to have conversations, people who I graduated high school with. Like, it's really been amazing.
I got a question for you.
Yes.
You talk about people back, the nun that brings her cat for service. Has she seen this?
Yes.
Okay. I just, you said that. For some reason, she just popped into my head.
She said, who brings a dog? She said that.
The dog,
she's going to actually, because she's a librarian. So
she's a librarian? Oh.
So you already know. She already told me she's going to get a copy to put in the library.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I did. For some reason, she just popped in my head when you said that.
I will be sure to reach out to her, seeing how she popped in your head.
Yeah, because she's one of the people from your past that I actually got to meet.
Yeah, she was my high school principal.
Because she brings her dog for service at the kennel.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
So it's a great, there's so many adventures, so many teaching opportunities, ways for me to weave lessons into these adventures, which I'm very excited about. Because of my relationship with GSAC, I can provide, some interesting facts. Like in the next story that's coming out, there's some interesting facts woven in about rabbits.
Oh.
Okay, so it's caused me to do some research, and I laugh, and I was like, boy, wouldn't my father be entertained at me now researching these because I need to make sure that what I'm putting in there is correct. Yeah. Now, of course, there's some pieces in there like, there's some exaggeration and stuff. So like even with the 40,000 years, one little boy said to his mother, I didn't know frogs could live that long.
Oh, that's cool.
But it gives the family an opportunity to talk about exaggeration and concepts, and let's do some research and find out more about frogs. Exactly. And that's what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to stimulate conversation and piece. Research and all of that. Increase knowledge. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, Dr. Walls, congratulations, and I guess we're going to be sitting with her when she does the next book.
Oh, I'm so excited. When I tell you, I am so excited to see these characters come to life.
You know what? I just did that best out of fun, but seriously, you know what I'm excited about? I'm excited to see what happens with Milton and his group of these young people. And for those who don't understand, these young people who created this with Milton don't live in the United States.
That's right.
And so to take this and build this bridge, this global economic bridge between St. Lucia, where these young people are based, and some of them are on other islands too, and have them do this and see this coming. So I'm excited about that, because when we started PIFF, we always talk about this global connection of building bridges, and I see this, it's like, wow, this is really cool. So that's one of my big ahas coming out of this, to see what happens. Because I know some other young people don't get in touch with you.
And they also created a whole world, which was totally amazing to me.
Yeah, because they'll be contacting you about ideas they have for Froggy Tea and Bunnie, because they don't want sitting there doing this, and while they're doing this, their mind's going like this.
Well, I've already had a read. I've already had the read with them. They know what the next story is about, because I wanted them to start to generate ideas.
Wow.
And so now I just need to, there's a storyboarding that can be a whole nother episode as we talk about that part of teaching, where I've written a story, but now I need to tell them what I see, which basically is like creating a storyboard for them, and then they'll take it from there. And then we collaborate. They send me their versions of what they think I want, and then I let them know where they're on, where they're off, and most of the time it's where they've far exceeded what I even imagined in the better direction.
Wow. I'm excited not because I know you, but I'm just excited because of what this is doing. Because we say a lot of times we talk about things that we would like to do, and then when we start to do it, to see it take a life of its own, and then to see it impact other people's lives.
It's amazing.
I'm like, it just makes you stop and think, be careful. I keep saying be careful what you put out there because it could impact someone in a positive or in a negative.
Yeah.
It could take someone up, it could take them down.
Yep.
And so, I'm excited to see what this does because this is very powerful.
Yeah.
I'm just talking to you right now. I have some of the stuff I did not know. And this have me thinking about backpacks, lunchboxes, and all that stuff. Now I'm like, why did I say that? That means more work for me. Oh, yeah. Edmund. But, the thing is, that's what happens. When Spirit touches us, we have a choice.
Yep.
I remember Steve Harvey always said, God's a gentleman, he'll knock on the door. If you open the door, he'll come in. If you don't open the door, he'll just not come in. So, we have a choice. If we submit ourselves to the Creator, the Most High, all of a sudden we find ourselves with all these things coming in, all these things, because we're going to connect ourselves to other people.
Yep.
And I'm excited. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
So I'm available for virtual book reads.
And how do they do that?
All you have to do is contact me at froggytandbunnie@gmail.com. And remember, that's Bunnie with a IE. So FROGGYTANDBUNNIE @gmail.com. And let's see what else. They can always contact me through my AskDrWalls.com website as well, because that has an email.
Sheesh, I don't know. I'm going to see her again. She's going to be all over the place.
Well, luckily, now due to Zoom and other virtual, platforms, I can be all over the place.
All over the place.
I am vaccinated, so I can also be all over the place as well.
Me too. I'm vaccinated.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, family. So that's PIFF Connections right now with Dr. Walls and Froggy T, i.e. Bunnie.
And Bunnie. Yes.
So we'd like to thank you all for watching and supporting what we do here at PIFF Connection and share with Froggy T and Bunnie and the greatest. And we're going to keep putting more positive stuff. I put information on. Hopefully we said something tonight that motivates you to jump on your dreams and move your dreams to the next level.
Definitely.
Because, when we all start moving in a positive mode, what do you say, how good and bad? How do you say it?
It's not that there's more bad in the world than good. It's just that they're doing a better job. So this means we got to the good has to up their game.
Okay. There you go. She says it better than I do.
So that's it. So be sure to follow us at Froggy T and Bunnie on Instagram.
Okay.
All right. So we do some posting at least about twice a week. And stay in touch.
Okay. God bless. And we'll talk to you later, family.
All right.
Good
and
night.
as always, live your greatest life.
All right.